John 9. Now as Jesus passed by, he saw a man who was blind from birth. And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man, or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, Neither this man nor his parents sinned, but that the works of God should be revealed in him. Jesus answered, Neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. I must work the works of him who sent me while it is day, the night is coming when no one can work. I must work the works of him that sent me, while it is day, the night cometh, when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When he had said these things, he spat on the ground and made clay with the saliva, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay. When he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground, and made clay of the spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay. And he said to him, Go, wash in the pool of Siloam, which is translated, sent. So he went and washed, and came back seeing. And said unto him, Go, wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation, sent. He went his way therefore, and washed, and came seeing. Therefore the neighbors and those who previously had seen that he was blind said, Is not this he who sat and begged? The neighbors therefore, and they which before had seen him that he was blind, said, Is not this he that sat and begged? Some said, This is he. Others said, He is like him. He said, I am he. Some said, This is he, others said, He is like him, but he said, I am he. Therefore they said to him, How were your eyes opened? Therefore said they unto him, How were thine eyes opened? He answered and said, A man called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes and said to me, Go to the pool of Siloam and wash. So I went and washed, and I received sight. He answered and said, A man that is called Jesus made clay, and anointed mine eyes, and said unto me, Go to the pool of Siloam, and wash, and I went and washed, and I received sight. Then they said to him, Where is he? He said, I do not know. Then said they unto him, Where is he? He said, I know not. They brought him who formerly was blind to the Pharisees. They brought to the Pharisees him that aforetime was blind. Now it was a Sabbath when Jesus made the clay and opened his eyes. And it was the Sabbath day when Jesus made the clay, and opened his eyes. Then the Pharisees also asked him again how he had received his sight. He said to them, He put clay on my eyes, and I washed, and I see. Then again the Pharisees also asked him how he had received his sight. He said unto them, He put clay upon mine eyes, and I washed, and do see. Therefore some of the Pharisees said, This man is not from God, because he does not keep the Sabbath. Others said, How can a man who is a sinner do such signs? And there was a division among them. Therefore said some of the Pharisees, This man is not of God, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. Others said, How can a man that is a sinner do such miracles? And there was a division among them. They said to the blind man again, What do you say about him because he opened your eyes? He said, He is a prophet. They say unto the blind man again, What sayest thou of him, that he hath opened thine eyes? He said, He is a prophet. But the Jews did not believe concerning him, that he had been blind and received his sight, until they called the parents of him who had received his sight. But the Jews did not believe concerning him, that he had been blind, and received his sight, until they called the parents of him that had received his sight. And they asked them, saying, Is this your son, who you say was born blind? How then does he now see? And they asked them, saying, Is this your son, who ye say was born blind? How then doth he now see? His parents answered them and said, We know that this is our son, and that he was born blind. His parents answered them and said, We know that this is our son, and that he was born blind. But by what means he now sees we do not know, or who opened his eyes we do not know. He is of age, ask him. He will speak for himself. But by what means he now seeth, we know not, or who hath opened his eyes, we know not, he is of age, ask him, he shall speak for himself. His parents said these things because they feared the Jews, for the Jews had agreed already that if anyone confessed that he was Christ, he would be put out of the synagogue. These words spake his parents, because they feared the Jews, for the Jews had agreed already, that if any man did confess that he was Christ, he should be put out of the synagogue. Therefore his parents said, he is of age, ask him. Therefore said his parents, he is of age, ask him. So they again called the man who was blind, and said to him, give God the glory. We know that this man is a sinner. Then again called they the man that was blind, and said unto him, give God the praise, we know that this man is a sinner. He answered and said, whether he is a sinner or not I do not know. One thing I know, that though I was blind, now I see. He answered and said, whether he be a sinner or no, I know not, one thing I know, that, whereas I was blind, now I see. Then they said to him again, what did he do to you? How did he open your eyes? Then said they to him again, what did he to thee? How opened he thine eyes? He answered them, I told you already, and you did not listen. Why do you want to hear it again? Do you also want to become his disciples? He answered them, I have told you already, and ye did not hear, wherefore would ye hear it again? Will ye also be his disciples? Then they reviled him and said, you are his disciple, but we are Moses' disciples. Then they reviled him, and said, thou art his disciple, but we are Moses' disciples. We know that God spoke to Moses, as for this fellow, we do not know where he is from. We know that God spake unto Moses, as for this fellow, we know not from whence he is. The man answered and said to them, why, this is a marvelous thing, that you do not know where he is from, yet he has opened my eyes. The man answered and said unto them, why herein is a marvelous thing, that ye know not from whence he is, and yet he hath opened mine eyes. Now we know that God does not hear sinners, but if anyone is a worshipper of God and does his will, he hears him. Now we know that God heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshipper of God, and doeth his will, him he heareth. Since the world began it has been unheard of that anyone opened the eyes of one who was born blind. Since the world began was it not heard that any man opened the eyes of one that was born blind. If this man were not from God, he could do nothing. If this man were not of God, he could do nothing. They answered and said to him, you were completely born in sins, and are you teaching us? And they cast him out. They answered and said unto him, thou wast altogether born in sins, and dost thou teach us? And they cast him out. Jesus heard that they had cast him out, and when he had found him, he said to him, do you believe in the Son of God? Jesus heard that they had cast him out, and when he had found him, he said unto him, dost thou believe on the Son of God? He answered and said, who is he, Lord, that I may believe in him? He answered and said, who is he, Lord, that I might believe on him? And Jesus said to him, you have both seen him and it is he who is talking with you. And Jesus said unto him, thou hast both seen him, and it is he that talketh with thee. Then he said, Lord, I believe. And he worshipped him. And he said, Lord, I believe. And he worshipped him. And Jesus said, for judgment I have come into this world, that those who do not see may see, and that those who see may be made blind. And Jesus said, for judgment I am come into this world, that they which see not might see, and that they which see might be made blind. Then some of the Pharisees who were with him heard these words, and said to him, are we blind also? And some of the Pharisees which were with him heard these words, and said unto him, are we blind also? Jesus said to them, if you were blind, you would have no sin, but now you say, we see. Therefore your sin remains. Jesus said unto them, if ye were blind, ye should have no sin, but now ye say, we see, therefore your sin remaineth. Psalms 21. The king shall have joy in your strength, O Lord, and in your salvation how greatly shall he rejoice. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. The king shall joy in thy strength, O Lord, and in thy salvation how greatly shall he rejoice. You have given him his heart's desire, and have not withheld the request of his lips, Selah. Thou hast given him his heart's desire, and hast not withholden the request of his lips. Selah. For you meet him with the blessings of goodness, you set a crown of pure gold upon his head. For thou preventest him with the blessings of goodness, thou settest a crown of pure gold on his head. He asked life from you, and you gave it to him, length of days forever and ever. He asked life of thee, and thou gavest it him, even length of days forever and ever. His glory is great in your salvation, honor and majesty you have placed upon him. His glory is great in thy salvation, honor and majesty hast thou laid upon him. For you have made him most blessed forever, you have made him exceedingly glad with your presence. For thou hast made him most blessed forever, thou hast made him exceeding glad with thy countenance. For the king trusts in the Lord, and through the mercy of the Most High he shall not be moved. For the king trusteth in the Lord, and through the mercy of the Most High he shall not be moved. Your hand will find all your enemies, your right hand will find those who hate you. Thine hand shall find out all thine enemies, thy right hand shall find out those that hate thee. You shall make them as a fiery oven in the time of your anger, the Lord shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger, the Lord shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. Their offspring you shall destroy from the earth, and their descendants from among the sons of men. Their fruit shalt thou destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men. For they intended evil against you, they devised a plot which they are not able to perform. For they intended evil against thee, they imagined a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform. Therefore you will make them turn their back, you will make ready your arrows on your string toward their faces. Therefore shalt thou make them turn their back, when thou shalt make ready thine arrows upon thy strings against the face of them. Be exalted, O Lord, in your own strength. We will sing and praise your power. Be thou exalted, Lord, in thine own strength, so will we sing and praise thy power.